Hello, all, and welcome to this afternoon's beer review. It's 4:20 exactly. 4:20 exactly. But very rarely ever happens. I'm actually on that magical hour there. But I'm going to dub this review the I finally finished that one game of colonization I was playing, and yeah, that single game took almost 120 hours. I think I'm done gaming for a while. Yes, basically since the start of, well, since my computer last broke. So yeah, that's how long I've been playing it. That single game. So what are we reviewing today? Got another beer from Ola. This one's been around for a while. I just haven't gotten around to reviewing it. This one was canned 11/18/21. So still somewhat fresh. But then it's a porter, so it's only really IPAs and other hop forward beers, especially where you have like a lot of hop aromatics where you really need to worry about the date. And this is 6.8 ABV. And what is Kiawe? Some of you may be wondering. Kiawe is what many of you in the Southwest would know as mesquite. Kiawe is just a Hawaiian name for it. Now, this porter, was brewed with the addition of both vanilla seed pods and the Kiawe pods. Those things are edible, though you shouldn't just eat it in and of itself. You should go and like cook it with something 1/3 to like something else because it's not nutritionally complete. But it is good in in case you're starving. Something to think about in this day and age. Never thought I'd go and say that without being sarcastic. But anyways, without further ado, let's go and 20 IBUs. Good. They have that on there too. So, without much further ado, it's already 2 minutes in. I've just been yammering on. Let's go and pour this out into the stout glass. I'm going to give it a fairly vigorous pour. Because I find these Ola brews, they kind of need a vigorous pour to get a good head on it. So, more or less opaque, brownish black, light passing through the base is amber golden with a thick beige head. Got some nice cacao smells there. Sweet vanilla, kind of interweaving its way there. Sort of coffee note, but more of a milky coffee note as compared to my previous review, which kind of had a black coffee note. And just a very subtle smokiness. I shouldn't say smokiness. It's almost like a smoked kind of thing, like a sweet smokedness. So instead of like, if you went in, I'm not sure how I can explain that. Like smoked meat, only not savory but sweet smelling. And with that, on to the palate now, shall we? The joys of urban living, eh? So something of a bitter finish. Excuse me, I'm going to go and close my window. So something of a bitter finish. And it's blurry, so let's go and bring it back. I don't know why it does that. And let's see here. Up front, a mild chocolatiness. Not quite super sweet, but still tangibly sweet. Or should I say, perceptibly sweet. Hmm. Hop bitterness in the finish, and also that subtle smokiness. It's a bit on the palate, but also mixed in with the top note as well. Somewhat chewy, but not oily. Yeah, definitely an almost slightly woody, slightly smoky finish there, um, underneath the hot bitterness, and also to the dark malt bitterness as well. Carbonation bite is moderate up front. Hmm. The vanilla on the palate is almost more of a suggestion. It's kind of there throughout from the front into the finish, but it's kind of playing not just like a second note, but almost like a third note there. I might note that this is very well balanced in regards to sweetness. This is just hitting the right spot in what I want for a perceptible level of sweetness in a porter. Too often you'll get something that's like a vanilla porter that means they're going to try to brew it a little bit sweeter than average. I kind of like it like this. Hmm. It's just a slight hint of booziness, though. More perceptible on the top note than on the palate. Yeah, and the mids, as it warms up, the mids into the finish, it is definitely developing much more of that woodsy note. A bit more woodsy than smoky, but still it does have that sort of smoked flavor to it. Yeah. As it warms up, the vanilla is increasing in its perceptibility, though not so much in regards to flavor. And I'm not really getting it on the palate or all that much in the top note. There's a bit more there in the nose, but not in the palate or the top note. But it's definitely lending a creaminess and smoothness to it. You know, that's kind of cutting that woodsy, the edge off the woodsiness and that smoked kind of note. And again, dark malts are there too. I'm kind of not talking about them enough, but they are actually front and forward there. All the rest of these are kind of like playing variations off of that main theme of a porter. If I'm going to use a classical music kind of terminology there. Sometimes I think I'm almost like. Sometimes, yeah, I really do see taste almost in terms of like, you know, sound slash music and color slash light sometimes. It's odd. But getting on to 12 minutes now. Ola Brew, cooperative from the Big Island of Hawaii. Kiawe Vanilla Porter. Some really interesting notes there on top of a serviceable porter that makes it well worth exploring. No real hits against it, I'd say. I'd say it's definitely interesting. It has piqued my interest a bit more than other porters have in a while. Mostly for the fact of the Kiawe adding that little nuance there and them not really going overboard on the vanilla or, residual sugar level. It's only somewhat sweet. It's not cloying. Well, folks, that is your beer review for this afternoon. Cheers.